Lennon Miller could be leaving Motherwell in this summer transfer window, but where will he end up? Will he stay in Scotland? Will he go to one of the top two? Or could he be looking to go down south, or possibly even a little bit further and follow in the footsteps of some great Scottish players over the last few years? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. The answer to that question we will not know until he actually makes his move, but we're going to see what you guys think. We're going to put up a poll asking where should Lennon Miller move to if he leaves Motherwell this summer. I imagine he will leave Motherwell this summer. I don't think Motherwell can afford to lose it on the kind of money that they will if they allow his contract to run down another year. So yeah, I'm just going to say here, I'd be absolutely shocked if this guy is still playing for Motherwell come the end of the transfer window. I mean, could he play probably a couple of Premier Sports Cup group stage games? I mean, maybe. But if this guy's still at Motherwell when the transfer window shuts, he would need to sign a new deal and another contract, and I don't see that happening either. So yeah, I believe he will not be a Motherwell player. Big question is, which club will he belong to?
Well, Lennon Miller, they want 10 million apparently. That's mid-June, right? They're not going to be barking that same shite when it comes to the end of August, are they?
No.
And I mean, this isn't where is he going to go? Well, it is it is where he should go, but the reality is there's a difference between where he should go and where he will end up. I mean, I think that's the intriguing thing here. But if you look at the four options, it's like there's a lot of talk about, well, he should do everything but go to the Old Firm. I don't think the Old Firm is a bad option, right? Either option, because I think going from Motherwell straight to a Premier League team is a big step up. Especially, and same with Serie A. I think, and he's also 18. We're not talking about like with Lewis Ferguson, right? Or John McGinn. They were a bit older.
Yeah, now some people will say, well, David Turnbull, he went to Celtic, it didn't work out for him. Well, what I would say is he was easily the best Celtic player in that disaster season.
He was better than Cal McGregor.
I mean, he was the only Celtic player that probably got pass marks that season.
What do you make of Cal McGregor touting his own supporters about fireworks?
Embarrassing, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, no, look, Lennon Miller's got years and years ahead of him. Like you mentioned with Ferguson and John McGinn, you know, they were in their early 20s when they decided to make the move down south. Like Lennon Miller, he could sign a 4-year deal with Celtic or Rangers and then leave halfway through it and still not even be 21.
Yes.
So, listen, this guy has got his whole career ahead of him. And you're right, we've seen players that are young go down south sometimes and you kind of just sit and don't do nothing.
Look at Calvin Ramsey. Honestly, if Lennon Miller joins a Premier League club this summer, right, he will play for the B team for pretty much most of the season and then probably return to the Scottish Premiership on loan next year. Like a Rangers, for example. Don't think Celtic would loan him in personally, but I don't think I think there's a reason the Premier League's last.
Yeah,
I don't think he should go.
Well, let's get into it. 1.4k votes, 1,400 people voting. In last place, got 9%, the English Premier League. And listen, it's not us. I don't think it's a case of us not believing that Miller could perhaps do something in the Premier League at this age. I just don't think he'll be given the chance.
No, I totally agree. I look at the newly promoted Premier League teams, right?
Oh yeah, it's not like Calvin Ramsey failed at Liverpool. He never got a chance.
Yeah, he didn't get a chance. And here, I honestly don't have a fucking Scooby snack what the Leeds team, what the Sunderland team, or what the Burnley team looks like, right? In terms of midfield.
Ben Doak?
Yeah, no, Ben Doak as well. He didn't get a chance.
See, for you, at 18, for a Scottish player to go from the Scottish Premiership to the English Premier League at 18 and to be given a chance in the first team, I think you'd need to be like legit world class.
And also, the centre mid position is the position that you would normally associate with experience.
Yeah,
it's not like he's burst onto the scene and he bagged 25 goals last season and it's like, well, that's different.
Now, I'm not saying he's not ready. I just don't think he'd be given an opportunity.
No,
I think he could go to a newly promoted team and not play a single fucking game.
Yes.
And then, like, maybe get loaned out in January.
Like, say what you want, but John McGinn had to go to the fucking Championship.
Yeah, no, he did. Andy Robertson, he went to Hull,
yep.
and it worked his way up. I mean, I know Van Dijk wasn't Scottish, but I mean, you even look at... It's very rare that players leave and go to the English Premiership to a top team.
I look at Man United, right? I think Lennon Miller's a perfect signing for Man United. I'm not saying, right, he's the guy you would put in this summer and be like, right, you're going to start for the next 15 years. But if I was at Man United, I'd be like, right, I think we should sign him. 10 million, cheap as piss, considering we've spent 90 million on Maguire and duds like that, Anthony. Bring him in, loan him back to the Scottish Premiership, or maybe send him to Serie A because that's worked, and then bring him back and see what he can do. But you know what? I'd be like, fuck. I would. Do you not look at Lennon Miller and go, could he not be the guy that could be the midfielder for Man United for the next 15 years?
Absolutely, could be. You mentioned Serie A, they're in third spot here, 20% in the poll. This is a very good option for me. I look at McTominay, Gilmore, and Lewis Ferguson. And then you got the likes of Josh Doidge doing really good in Italy. Shea Adams is also doing good in Italy. For some reason, Scottish players just seem to excel in Italy. Yeah. I don't know if it's the style of Italian football or whatnot, but we've seen multiple players now leave, go to Italy, and have success. So, I mean, if you're Lennon Miller, surely you look at those others and go, well, it's worked out good for them. It could work out good for Aaron Hickey, another one. So he went to Bologna. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of Scottish players have success in Italy.
No, absolutely. And
I think it would make sense for Lennon Miller to go to Serie A.
And what sort of club? It's weird. It's like the Premier League bias. It's like McTominay and Gilmore have won the the Italian league. You've got Lewis Ferguson that's won the Italian
but look
Cup.
at Lewis.
What sort of club could Lennon Miller go to in Serie A and start quite regularly for?
I think a mid to upper.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't think he should be looking to go to like the Inters or Napoli or Juventus or anything like that. But I mean, I think once you get further down, and I mean, you look at Milan, they're not that great anymore. Like a Roma, or even like a Fiorentina. I think around that level, I don't see why not.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and it'd be interesting to see what would happen. But he's not far away. Put it this way, right? I'm not saying Billy Gilmore's hype has died, but do you not think Billy Gilmore, since he came into the Scotland team, and he's not, I don't know if flatline's the correct term, but do you not think Billy Gilmore's probably hit his ceiling? I don't really see him getting much better. And that's not to say he's bad, by the way. I still think he's a great player. But I feel like with Lennon Miller, with a couple more years under his belt, he will definitely become like one of the first names in the Scotland team.
No, definitely.
And that's what's going to help him big time. But you're right. I think a move for one of the top Italian teams is at the window. But that's why I think when you go back to the Premier League, Man United are a team in absolute fucking freefall, man. Spending like 90, 80 million on duds.
Well, we talked about not getting a chance in the Premier League. I look at Lewis Ferguson. Guy goes to Bologna. 2 seasons later, he's smashing it, and now he's valued at like 25, 30 million, and you have the top Serie A teams. You have Napoli, the Serie A champions, interested in signing Ferguson. I think if Ferguson went straight to English Premier League, I don't think he'd have played.
Yeah.
I think he'd have sat on the bench, collected dust. So, to me, I see similarities here. There's no reason why Lennon Miller can't go to like a Bologna-style club and have a shitload of success. Right, then we go into second spot, and we obviously the 2 winners of this poll, the 1 winner and the runner-up. Rangers 26%, and the winners of this poll, Celtic 46%. We'll just cover them both here at the same time. I think, selfishly, it would be good if he moved to one of them, because it means Lennon Miller is remaining in Scottish football for a couple more seasons. And there's no reason why this... Lennon Miller's so young that he's got so many potential future moves ahead of him. This guy can go to Celtic or Rangers for 3 or 4 years, then go to Serie A.
Yeah.
See, like, Lennon Miller could have 4 years at one of the old firm, then 4 years at a good Italian team, and then at 20, he'd be 26 after those 8 years, and he could get like a massive move if he really wants to go to the Premier League.
He's the perfect embodiment of if you're good enough, you're old enough.
But it just goes to, he's not like one of these players that, you maybe need to choose your next move. I don't know if you choose your next move wisely. This guy can move anywhere he wants and for however long he wants because he's that young.
Right, but I look at the Rangers midfield, right, and for me, he starts every day of the week.
Well, I think he starts for Celtic as well, because Callum McGregor's getting older, wasn't as great this season. Hatate, who I do think is the best Celtic midfielder overall, probably last season was probably his worst season, and I think he could leave. Engels, overrated. Bernardo, not that great. Luke McCowan, I like him, but he's not. I don't think he'd start over Lennon. I think Lennon Miller was into that Celtic team.
No, I would start him, right? But would he start for Celtic? I'm not convinced.
If I was the manager,
No, yes, if you were the manager, yeah, but I think the difference is between Celtic and Rangers. He guaranteed for me he would start for Rangers.
And also, if you want him to, the more he plays, the more he will improve.
Yes.
See if Celtic or Rangers sign him and he barely gets a game, and he's sitting. You're doing yourself a disservice. Why pay all that money and then not play him?
No, I totally agree, but the problem is here, folks, is as you pointed out, he's young enough, man. Go to the sports, go to Rangers or Celtic. 3 years, boom, 21, right, 22, whatever. It's the 10 million. It's just.
Could Celtic or Rangers potentially negotiate a smaller fee for Miller and loan him back to Motherwell for a season? You might argue, well, that's pointless, but I think if he's not going to be a starting player, I think it's pointless paying 10 million.
I think it makes more sense for Celtic that for Rangers. No, not a chance. Celtic are in the position they can afford to do that. Rangers need to spend 10 million and make it count.
So he walks into. Is he the first name in the Rangers? Is he picked?
In the first Rangers.
Is he the first name you pick, or is Raskin ahead of him?
I'd say Raskin and I've no complaints if Raskin and Lennon Miller, the two centre mids at Ibrox next season. Although probably both of them will not be there, so I'll be picking Diddy men in my midfield.
And for Celtic, what do you think's happening with them? What current Celtic players in midfield do you think will leave, or do you think they'll all stay?
I think attack, but then
there's a lack of game time for McCowan and Bernardo, so I just can't imagine they bring in Lennon Miller and the rest of them all stay.
Well, put it this way, right? You're right, but put it this way.
See if yourself.
It's a big statement of intent if Lennon Miller comes in and starts playing and starting games over Cal McGregor. I just can't see that happening, especially while Celtic are winning things. See if Celtic, right, did what Rangers have done recently, which is win hee-haw, then the sort of things that were said about Tavernier are quickly going to be said about Cal McGregor. And he needs to get dropped. Lennon Miller should be playing every week over him. See if
you're the Celtic manager and you got offered your money back for Engels, would you take it and bring in Miller? Or do you want to see Engels in another season to see if he improves?
We had someone in the chat yesterday said they would take 11 million back for Engels.
So would you take 11 million for Engels right now and then spend it on Miller?
Yes, because for me it's a no-brainer. I think Lennon Miller's better. Lennon Miller's better than Engels, and he is guaranteed to get profit. I'm not convinced that Engels is going to get profit.
Similar to the Raskin situation, though, with Engels being Belgian, if he does perform better this season and then he gets back into the Belgian national team, would you not argue that his value will just pretty much almost like double if he has a good season and gets back playing international football?
No, yeah, that could happen, but I just feel like in terms of the two players between Engels and Lennon Miller, I think Miller is the safer bet to make a profit on.
I don't think Celtic would lose. Engels could have a bad season, and I don't think Celtic would lose that much in terms of his value. But I think a good season, it could go up a hell of a lot more.
No, I agree, right? I don't think we're looking at a situation here where Celtic sell Engels. They're going to be selling them for like
4 or 5.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
I would say the lowest.
If Celtic do take a loss,
7.5.
yeah, if Celtic do take a loss on him, I think it would just be a few million. But I think that if he has a good season and he gets back into the national team, then I could see them getting double at least.
I just can't see Lennon Miller replacing Cal McGregor while Celtic are on top. I think we seen with the last time with Scott Brown. It happened very quickly. Scott Brown was on top, loving life. Rangers won the league, and that season he was out. He went and joined Aberdeen.
Yeah, but Brown and McGregor were playing alongside each other.
No, they were, but I think for like an end of an era to happen.
No, but wouldn't it be
maybe Cal McGregor will leave while Celtic are winning? I don't know.
No, but like, why does Lennon Miller have to come in and replace him? Could Lennon Miller and McGregor no be the Celtic partnership for the next few seasons?
They could be,
and then you groom Lennon Miller to be the next captain.
Problem is, then what happens there? Does that
mean? Was that no kind of what happened with Brown and McGregor? Were they not the midfield?
But say Celtic sell Bernardo, right? And they've got Miller, Hatate, McGregor, and Engels. Who's not playing then? Because you're looking at.
Well, no, but we spoke about them selling Engels. Plus, Hatate's better, I think, in a fuller advanced position.
Oh yeah, maybe Lennon
You can
Miller
play
and-
Hatate in front of Miller, and you can play Miller in the cam, actually.
It's a good headache to have, that's what I'll say.
And to be honest, I mean, it's more McGregor would be behind those two. McGregor would be the more defensive-minded player with Hatate and Miller in front of him.
The fact of the matter is this, right? Has he got a better chance of winning things at Celtic right now? Of course he does. Has he got a better chance of starting every week for Rangers? Of course he does. There's no tinted specs on there. It's like, what is the better career move for Lennon Miller?
It's not about winning trophies at this point in his career. It's about playing and advancing and getting better and developing.
Yes.
I get what you're saying, but to me, that's what would Lennon Miller rather next season? A trophyless season where he starts every game, or he wins like a double, but plays maybe like 30% of the matches. I think he'd rather the play 100%.
Yeah, he would play more games for Rangers than he would for Celtic. Like that I can guarantee that. Because and also another thing, I think there's more chance of Raskin going than any Celtic midfielder.
Right, well, let's get into the comments, see what these guys are saying. Alright, let's go for it. Lee says Middlesbrough. Alright, okay. RW says Serie A. Neil McLean says he'll rot on the bench at Nuco. He'd be better off going to Italy, for example. Nuco. Would he rot on the bench, though? I think people are seriously underrating Lennon Miller. I don't think he's rotting in any bench. Pato says he should stay at Motherwell, join Celtic, and he will add to the list of midfielders bought to spend an entire contract spell in the reserves or be sold early, like Home, Kwon, Telio, Awata, Allen, McCarthy. Alright, let's not put McCarthy into the same category here as Lennon Miller.
Yeah.
That McCarthy was a horrible signing. 4-year deal for him, by the way. There's been multiple times throughout the year I forgot he was even still there. This guy has went to Celtic and literally stolen
Is
a
he
wage.
away?
I'm pretty sure he's about his contract's out this season, isn't it?
That's a fucking disgrace, isn't it?
Was it not a 4-year deal he signed?
Aye, it was, something like that. I mean, that's crazy.
He's either gone now or he's away at the end of next season. Because see, Home, Kwon, those guys had chances and they just weren't good enough. The one person I maybe don't agree with Celtic selling would maybe be Awata. I think he was beginning to come onto a game, and they got rid of him. Do you not think just before he left he was beginning to improve?
Yeah, but what the fuck is this Pato on about here? The Sicilian American mafia with Rangers and then just listing a bunch of fucking gangsters. Am I missing the punchline here?
Possibly, but I think, how can you compare Lennon Miller to a McCarthy whose legs were done and went to Celtic because it's his boyhood club and he wanted to collect a fucking paycheck?
Yeah, let's not see the names that are listed there. Lennon Miller's better than all of them.
And they all got chances. Holy shit!
No, I don't think enough's being made at a 10 million price tag at Motherwell with a year left on the deal.
Yeah, hold on. This Pato thinks that Celtic are going to pay 10 million for Lennon Miller to sit on the bench for 4 years.
Yeah, come on.
You ain't paying 10. You're not paying 10 million to sit on a bench and rot. Not a chance. Serie A is out as he cannot speak Italian. He can hardly speak English. Well, could Lewis Ferguson? Could McTominay? Could Gilmore? Could Josh Doyle? Can Shea Adam? Are they all fluent Italian? Maybe good at eating pizza or something.
Buongiorno.
But maybe good at ordering a pepperoni or something. But can they speak Italian? I don't think so. I don't think you need to speak Italian either. However,
Buongiorno.
LGCFC says, funny to read the Huns saying he's pish, fuck me man, he wouldn't get into your fucking team of superstars, you deluded dicks. I haven't really seen any Huns say that, to be fair. Baldy Cock, stay away from Scotland, it's a graveyard for football, maybe Italy, and in a few years take England's money. Duncan Green says, Rangers please. Davia says, Serie A or Bundesliga if he has any sense. As a Rangers fan, I'd love him at my club, as would most Celtic fans, but for him to develop, he needs to leave Scotland. Kieran Moore.
Not the funny thing is, I'm seeing Rangers fans turn around and speaking about their own chances. Celtic fans are talking about Rangers' chances of sliding.
I almost think that's an obsession thing.
Yeah, almost.
Kieran Mowat says if he goes to either Old Firm clubs, he will be a bench warmer. David says he would walk into the Rangers team.
Well, look at the Rangers team, right? Diamonde are asking Bailey Rice, Connor Barron, Lyle Cameron. At worst, Lennon Miller's third. And I put him above Diamonde.
Aye, I mean, I don't think Lennon Miller's rotting on that bench. Gary says hopefully he'll get good advice, not stay in Scotland. Celtic fan 67 for his development Serie A. Summit today says he's not good enough to dislodge a Celtic midfielder, but worth building a team around at Sevco. I think the kids benefit so much more being away from the political pish. Go to Italy and light up that league, and then get his big move to a top 6 English club in 5-6 years. So hold on. This guy thinks he's good enough to go to Italy and light up the Serie A league, but he's not good enough to dislodge a Celtic midfielder. And then in 5 and 6 years he can play for a top 6 English club, but not good enough to dislodge fucking some overrated shitey Engels. I mean, come on.
That's basically saying that Lewis Ferguson and McTominay wouldn't be good enough to dislodge a Celtic midfielder.
Yeah, but he's saying he's good enough to light up the Italian league and get a top 6 move in England.
Come on, brother. What's that all about? That's ridiculous. Can't be fucking saying that shite.
So hold on, he's not good enough to dislodge Callum McGregor, a guy that has never been good enough to light up a league like Serie A or get a move to any English club, never mind a top 6 one.
I just don't understand it, man.
Many top 6 clubs put in bids for Callum McGregor.
Yo, Serie A, right?
Answer the question.
No, I know, but...
Well, what's the answer?
Hee-haw.
Right,
by the sounds of it. Apart from Brendan Rodgers was in charge of Leicester, there might have been half a rumour there, who knows. But I just don't get that, man.
Vatican Bishop said he should be picked up by Celtic given our history of letting players go to save money. Tells me he won't be paying that for him. Alan Knott says, what has he ever done? Played okay for Scotland against Liechtenstein. Read that again. Liechtenstein, Scotland being managed by Steve Clarke. Let that information seep in. What do you mean, what's he ever done? Plays for Motherwell. What do you expect him to do? Win Champions fucking Leagues? I mean, he performs every week and he's only 18 years old.
No.
Head and shoulders above every other player on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, and he's already getting caps at Scotland. And look how good our midfield is. And he's getting caps in a midfield that includes McTominay, McGinn, all those guys. So, what do you mean? What's he ever done? What does he need to win trebles? Is that it? Is that the
watch any Motherwell game, right? He's not just a step above, man. He is multiple steps above. I've seen the guy in the floor. Lennon Miller's it.
Cody Kay says needs to try and keep Scottish talent in Scotland for as long as possible. He should go to Celtic, win a couple of league titles, then go for 25 million in 3 years to join the Prem. I think if he goes to Celtic, I think he'll be worth more than 25 million in 3 years.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Unless he signs a 4-year deal and he's only got 1 year left in 3 years. I mean, if you're looking at it from that perspective, but I think that's overthinking it.
But then he's going from 10 from Motherwell with a year left, so...
Yeah, so... if he goes to Celtic, performs well, signs a contract extension, Celtic then decide that they want to sell him on with 3 or 4 years left on his deal, this is the guy that will break the Scottish transfer record. If he goes to one of the old firm clubs.
I agree.
If he doesn't and he leaves straight from Motherwell, then Motherwell aren't holding it for 26 million. No happening. But Celtic Rangers certainly could hold it for that amount of money, and they'll get it if he goes to one of them. Terrible idea. You should avoid the ugly sister. Look at the career of Turnbull and Barron down the shitter. While Ferguson, Gilmore, Hickey thrived. Go abroad, live a better life, play at a higher level, and succeed. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's true to a point, but say Davy Turnbull, right? Let's not protect. I mean, I can't even believe I'm defending Celtic here, right? But he went to Celtic and played a lot of games. And then went to Cardiff, and let's face it, he's fucking flopped. He's part of a team that got relegated to League One. That's on Davy Turnbull. Yeah, you can say, well, he wasn't ambitious enough. Was Davy Turnbull even getting fucking moves to go to Serie A? We're talking about 5, 6, 7 years ago.
I don't recall it.
No, did Celtic kill Davy Turnbull's career, or is he just not as good as people thought he was? I think it's the latter.
I think it's a bit of both. I think he was unfortunate that Celtic had that disaster season when he went. But he was a standout player.
Yeah, and as for Connor Barron, right? Again, I think he's played a lot of games for Rangers this last season.
Is his career dead?
Who?
Connor Barron? I don't
No,
think
I
so.
don't
Is
so.
his career in the shitter?
I think he's getting mismanaged though. Connor Barron is definitely the sort of player that needs to be utilised correctly in a midfield three. He's not good going forward, but he's very good at cutting out passing lanes and shit like that. And he's not that good on the ball. There's midfielders that are just like Kante. He was just suited to running about, winning the ball back.
Yep. Steve the King says he won't get a game for Celtic. Beer Sensei 91 says Serie A. Beer guy, the man. Serie A worked out for a bunch of Scottish players, so yeah, maybe there. Blue Bear says he's pish.
That must be the Rangers man that called him pish.
Gillian Stalker says don't rate him at all. Foreign Office Club says abroad, best way for him to learn his trade. Koras HFC says Rangers can't afford Tierney, never mind Miller. And why is a Hibs guy worried about who Rangers can afford, not his own club? And then William says Rangers. Aye, so we got some people wanting to go Rangers, some people wanting to go Celtic.
Mismatch.
A lot of people saying that he should go to Serie A. I'd have no complaints if he went to Serie A. It'd be cool to see him in Serie A.
What's the best move for his career? Probably Serie A.
But I see no reason
the worst move's the Premier League.
I see no reason why he can't go to Serie A after being at Celtic or Rangers.
No, I totally agree with that.
Anyway, we'll wait and see, guys. That's it. Let us know your thoughts. Till next time. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and peace.